Hey everybody. This is a video from a while back, one of my first efforts of doing a video from the top of the car. And this is in southern Utah on Utah Highway 12, one of the most scenic highways you will ever see. We begin this trip here just east of the Hogs Back, and we'll be reaching the Hogs Back here very shortly. As you can see, this road is narrow, falling off on both sides. It's not as scary as it might appear. It's actually quite a safe road. Maybe a little rough when it snowed on it, but definitely not that bad of a road. And very scenic, obviously. So we're heading in a direction towards Bryce Canyon. We're about 60 something miles from it at this point. And now beginning to descend from, well, not quite yet. This is very early in the morning, so yeah, sun in the field of view. Kind of tough to avoid that with the very wide angle lens on the GoPro. Now we're descending it. This particular stretch of road is part of the Tour of Utah cycle race pretty much every year. Now, the problem with the GoPro here is a very, very wide angle lens, so it's almost impossible to avoid getting the sun in the field of view if you're pointed to it at all. And that complicates things, so it would be better to have a lens that was not quite as wide angle. Best time of the year to come to this area. Spring and fall. Wintertime, you know, the snow can make things difficult to get around. And in the summertime, it can get, 115, 120 degrees, but definitely over 110 pretty often. So spring and fall are, I would consider, the best times of the year to come here. And a lot of people come from all over the world, and they'll rent motorcycles to drive roads like this. I've met many of them. And one of the other nice things about an area like this is that the traffic volume is pretty small. We're talking only a few hundred cars per day. There's a lot of hiking and slot canyon hiking and exploring in this area, particularly as you get a little closer to Escalante. it was in places like this that guys like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Gang would escape to when they were being pursued. Not necessarily this area per se, but specific place, but in this general area of Utah. Robin's Roost, places like that. Easy to get lost here. Very early morning sun makes it a little harsh, as lots of things are in shadow and a lot of things are brightly illuminated. That kind of makes things a little difficult video wise. And there are a number of occasions here where the auto white balance doesn't do too well. It's the Calf Creek area. And we'll be crossing the Escalante River. It's not much of a river at this point. Like most of the streams and rivers in this part of the country, it's dry or nearly dry most of the year, and then when it rains, it flash floods. It can be very dangerous. Now we're climbing up here to a place I think they call Kiva Coffee House. There aren't many places along this route where you can stop to get coffee or that kind of thing, so I love to stop at places like this and give them my money. That's all they get. I mean, there's nothing here. There's very few people. So if I'm going to be giving my money to somebody, I would prefer to give it to someone like this. So I usually stop at a place like this, even if only for a cup of coffee. Alright, I think we resume here in a second, and here we go. So this was again one of my earlier attempts at on-car video, to capture a scenic place, and this was with a GoPro Hero 3 Black, I think, and it's just HD video. So I definitely want to come back to this place now that I have a couple of decent 4K cameras. See the auto white balance gets screwed up in places, and the sky goes pretty cyan. In a minute or so, we'll be approaching a place they refer to as Head of the Rocks, and there's an overlook above that. It's one of the most amazing stretches of road you will find anywhere. It almost looks like it's from another planet. And again, this particular stretch of road is included in pretty much every year of the Tour of Utah cycle race. Kind of just begin to see that now in the a little bit in the distance there. We're closer to it than it looks. Alright, we're coming into the Head of the Rocks area now. And you'll notice some of the rock formations here have the kind of a checkerboarding look to them. Similar to some of the rock formations you'll see at the eastern entrance of Zion. In fact, there's a mesa called Checkerboard Mesa in at the eastern end of Zion. Definitely want to come back here with my 4K cameras now. Look at it, it looks like it's from another planet. And from above, the overlook, you can see coloration in that rock that is harder to see at, at the lower angles. You can see the checkerboarding there. So we climb this section here. We'll pass the overlook, and that'll be pretty much the end of this journey. And where we end is about 10 miles east of Escalante. Another very small town. Some people might call it a podunk town, but it's a small town. Ranching, farming, tourism. That's pretty much it. Right, that area we just passed obviously is now off to the right, and we're approaching the overlook, what they refer to as Head of the Rocks Overlook. And that's a nice place to stop. This is it coming up right here. I bypass it. And the sign there says Escalante 10 miles and I think Henrieville or something like that. So we're just about the end of this little journey here, and I hope you enjoyed it. And like I said, spring and fall are the best times to come. And stop at the little places. Give them your money. Not all of it, but some of it. Okay, thanks for watching.